Hello and welcome to the debut episode of 8-Bit Creature Feature, specifically the first episode in an ongoing series that I'm calling the 8-Bit Creature Feature Drive-In Theater, where we dive back into the crypts of cinematic history and take a look at those films that used to flicker across the drive-in screens all over America. So join me now as we take a look at the schlocktastic classic, The Giant Claw. The Giant Claw is a 1957 giant monster film directed by Fred F. Sears, produced by Sam Katzman, and co-starring notable B-movie luminaries Jeff Moreau and Mara Corday. During a military test flight near the North Pole, Mitch McAfee, great name by the way, encounters an unidentified flying object, which leads to a missing jet and McAfee being accused of fabricating a hoax. McAfee and mathematician Sally Caldwell are attacked by the UFO while flying back to New York, and they crash land in the Adirondacks. They meet a local farmer and are told the legend of a giant monster bird called La Cacargne. As more aircraft disappear, the military begins to take McAfee's report seriously. Authorities eventually identify the culprit as a gargantuan bird from an antimatter galaxy that possesses a seemingly invincible shield. McAfee, Caldwell, and a team of scientists and generals work to find a weakness as the monster wreaks havoc across the world and eventually arrives in the skies over New York City. The Giant Claw is easily one of the most universally mocked films this side of Ed Wood's Plan 9 from Outer Space. Maybe it's not that bad. There is a sincerity to this movie, but the schlock factor does chart pretty high with this one. The film is produced by Sam Katzman, who was a pretty prolific producer from back in the day. He worked for Columbia Pictures, and he was known for being able to get a film done on a very low, limited budget. He was responsible for such movies like It Came From Beneath the Sea, as well as Earth vs. the Flying Saucers, both of which actually featured stop-motion animation by the legendary Ray Harryhausen. Katzman originally wanted to hire Harryhausen to design and animate the title creature. However, the low budget of the film made that impossible. So instead, Katzman turned the effects over to a studio in Mexico City, and what we ended up getting was a cheap marionette, a very ridiculous, googly-eyed looking space buzzard with a mohawk. According to lead actor Jeff Moreau, no one on set knew what the monster looked like because the special effects were all being shot over in Mexico City. So no one on set knew. They didn't see the monster until the film debuted at its premiere. The audience laughed hysterically every time the creature was on screen, and this actually made Jeff Moreau sneak out of the theater early, where he allegedly went home and hit the bottle pretty hard. The movie starts off in fairly standard 1950s fashion, with a narrator talking about how advances in science and modern technology, namely radar, have made the world feel like such a small place compared to how it once was. Aeronautical engineer Mitch McAfee, played by Jeff Moreau, is in the middle of a test flight involving a new radar installation near the North Pole. The test is interrupted when McAfee's plane is repeatedly intercepted by a massive unidentified flying object, and several military jets are scrambled to assist. When McAfee returns to base, he is reprimanded by the commanding officer as the object that was reported never appeared on radar. Worse yet, one of the military pilots never returned. With mathematician Sally Caldwell, played by Mara Corday, by his side, McAfee is sent back to New York City. Jeff Moreau and Mara Corday were both pretty prolific figures when it comes to the world of B-grade science fiction films. Jeff Moreau, for example, he appeared in such films as This Island Earth and The Creature Walks Among Us. And he gives a very earnest performance here. He does a very admirable job, and he definitely fits the bill for your typical leading man of this time period. His co-star Mara Corday is also no stranger to this world, appearing in films like Tarantula and The Black Scorpion. On top of acting, she also had a pretty successful modeling career. I think she actually appeared in the pages of Playboy too back in the 1950s, so she's pretty popular when it comes to this genre. But that being said, I mean, she does deliver a very sincere performance, and her cult status, her popularity that she has, it definitely elevates her presence in these types of films and definitely gives her a little bit of an edge, allows her to stand apart from a lot of the other sci-fi leading ladies of this time period. On their way back to New York, their plane is attacked by the unidentified flying object, and they are forced to crash land somewhere in the Adirondacks. They are rescued by Pierre Broussard, a French-Canadian farmer. During the night, some of Pierre's animals are attacked by a mysterious creature. Pierre claims that it was La Cacargne, a mythical bird-like creature from French-Canadian folklore that acts as a harbinger of death. As more aircraft go missing, McAfee and Sally continue on to New York, where they continue their investigation. So up until this point, the movie has actually done a very good job at building suspense. We haven't seen the monster at all, really, and the performances of the actors is definitely doing a good job at selling the fact that there's something going on here that we should be worried about. As another aircraft runs afoul of the UFO, we finally get our first close-up of the creature, and I mean, it's something, isn't it? So I can't really say anything that hasn't really already been said about the monster effects in this film. I mean, the bottom line is that they are very just cheap and underwhelming. After the build-up we've had, this is the best they could give us. That being said, it really is the lousy quality of the effects that take this movie into so bad it's good territory. I should also add that every single character in this movie refers to this creature as being as big as a battleship. I'm not kidding. Every character says this. We hear it at least 15 times. We get it. It's as big as a battleship. The military starts taking action against the monster bird, but nothing seems to have any effect as an entire squadron of fighter jets is destroyed. As the creature starts appearing across the entire world, it is determined that the beast comes from an antimatter galaxy and is being protected by an invisible force field. I'm not gonna lie, the concept of the monster coming from an antimatter galaxy and, positive and negative particles and mirror images and all that kind of stuff is actually pretty interesting. As the attacks intensify, McAfee and Sally head back to Piers and discover that the creature has built a nest. McAfee and Sally manage to shoot and destroy the egg, which sends the creature into a rage, and unfortunately our French-Canadian hero Pierre is killed. Returning to New York, McAfee and Sally meet with military scientists who have developed a weapon that can destabilize the creature's antimatter shield. Mounting the weapon on the tail gun of a military bomber, our heroes take to the skies in a final showdown against the creature over New York City. While the Giant Claw has definitely earned its place in the pantheon of B-movie ridicule, its reputation isn't entirely deserved, in my opinion. Beneath the rubbery talons and the googly-eyed menace lies a first act that does a very good job at building suspense, and it's anchored by a cast that takes the material seriously enough to really sell the stakes of the film. And as I mentioned before, the antimatter monster concept is actually pretty interesting, and despite the infamous level of the effects, the movie does keep the action moving at a pretty steady pace. For fans of atomic oddities and drive-in thrills, the Giant Claw really does deliver more bite than expected. Easy 4 out of 5 for me. I can definitely appreciate the sincerity of this film and the hard work that went into it, only for it to kind of get derailed by a ugly-looking marionette with a mohawk. Well, that about wraps up this first installment of the 8-Bit Creature Feature Drive-In Theater. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you again soon. I do want to note now that as this channel moves forward, you will see different formats and different episodic styles, all steeped though in a love for vintage horror, retro video games, and plenty more. So please like and subscribe, and definitely feel free to leave a comment below. Have you ever seen the Giant Claw before? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know what you think down in the comments section. Love to hear your thoughts on it. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.